In life, we all make plans. We decide where we want to go, what we want to do, and how our future should look. But sometimes, life takes us in a completely different direction. A wrong road, a delay, a problem. In that moment, we feel angry, unlucky, even cursed. But what if that wrong turn is actually saving your life? What if what looks like a loss today becomes the reason for your biggest blessing tomorrow? Today's story is about a young man named Robert and the wrong turn that saved his life. Many years ago, in a small village surrounded by hills and forests, there lived a young man named Robert. He was honest, hard-working, and quiet by nature. Robert lived with his mother in a tiny clay house at the edge of the village. His father had died when he was still a child, so Robert became the only support of the family. Every day was almost the same for him. He woke up early, helped his mother with small chores, and then went out looking for work. Sometimes he helped a carpenter. Sometimes he carried sacks for shopkeepers. Sometimes he worked in the fields. He earned a little money, just enough for food, never enough for dreams. But deep inside, Robert had a wish. He wanted a stable job, a job with regular income, a job where he didn't have to beg for daily work. One evening, when he was sitting outside his house, his friend Thomas came running. "Robert, did you hear the news?" Thomas shouted. "What news?" Robert asked. "The big company in the town is hiring helpers for their warehouse. Good pay, regular work. They said anyone can come tomorrow for an interview." Robert's heart jumped. "Tomorrow?" he asked. "Yes," Thomas replied. "Early morning. We have to reach the town before 9. Robert looked at his mother. Her hands were rough from years of washing clothes and cooking on a wood fire. He thought, if I get this job, I can finally give her some comfort. "I'll go," he said firmly. That night, Robert could hardly sleep. He planned everything in his mind. He would wake up before sunrise, take the main road to town, reach early, and give his best in the interview. He imagined himself getting selected. He imagined bringing his first salary home. Finally, after many years, his life might change. The next morning, Robert woke up while it was still dark. He washed his face, put on his cleanest shirt, and ate a simple breakfast his mother prepared. She placed a hand on his head and said, "Do your best, son. God will do the rest." He smiled, picked up his small bag, and started walking toward the town. There were 2 ways to reach the town. A main road that passed through the fields and then joined the big market. A narrow forest path that was shorter, but people didn't usually use it at night or early morning. Robert always took the main road. It was longer, but safe and clear. But today, as he walked, something unexpected happened. When he reached the turn toward the main road, he saw a group of people standing there. The road was blocked with a fallen tree and mud. "What happened?" Robert asked. "One of the big trees fell in the storm last night," a farmer replied. "The road is blocked. You can't cross from here." Robert's heart sank. "If I go back and try another way, I'll be late," he thought. He looked at the sun. It was still low. He checked the time in his mind. Then he remembered something. The forest path. There was a small path that went through the woods and came out near the town. He had never taken it to the town before, but he had seen shepherds use that route. "If I take the forest path, I can still reach on time," he thought. "But what if I get lost? What if something happens?" For a moment, he stood still, confused and stressed. Then he took a deep breath. "I have no choice," he told himself. "If I want that job, I have to try." And with that, Robert turned away from the main road and stepped onto the narrow forest path. At first, the path was clear. Birds were singing, the air was cool, and the ground was soft under his feet. This isn't so bad, Robert thought. But as he went deeper, the trees grew thicker. The sunlight became weaker. The sound of the village faded behind him. After a while, the path started to split in different directions. There were small tracks going left, right, and straight ahead. Which way now? He wondered. He chose one direction and walked. Then he chose another. Soon, he realized something terrible. He was lost. His heart started to beat faster. I don't have time for this, he said to himself. I have to reach the town. He walked faster, then slower, then stopped. Every group of trees looked the same. Every stone looked familiar. But nothing showed him the exit. Minutes turned into an hour. Robert sat down on a rock, breathing heavily. That's it, he thought bitterly. I've missed the interview. I've destroyed my own chance. What kind of fool leaves the main road and takes a path he doesn't know? His eyes filled with tears of frustration. Why am I always unlucky? He whispered. But life was not finished with him yet. Because just then, he heard a sound. At first it was faint, like a small animal crying. Then he heard it again, clearer this time. Help! Somebody please help! It was a human voice. Robert stood up immediately. Where are you? He shouted back. Here, near the old well. The voice answered, weak and pained. Robert followed the sound, pushing branches out of his way, stumbling over roots and stones. Finally, he reached a small clearing. There, near a broken old well, he saw a man lying on the ground. The man looked around 50, well-dressed. With a torn coat and blood on his forehead, a horse cart lay overturned nearby, wheels broken, bags scattered. Robert ran toward him. What happened? He asked. I was going to the town early morning. The man groaned. My cart hit a stone and I fell. My leg, I think it's broken. I've been shouting for hours. No one came. Robert looked around. No houses, no other road, no one else. If he had not taken the wrong turn, he would never have been here. Robert quickly checked the man's leg. It was badly twisted. You can't walk, Robert said. I have to get you out of here. The man tried to sit up but cried out in pain. Robert looked at the overturned cart. Can you sit if I support you? Robert asked. I can try, the man replied. It took a lot of effort, but with Robert's help, the man managed to sit. Robert used some cloth from his own bag to tie the injured leg and reduce the movement. Then Robert slowly helped him onto a piece of wood from the cart and dragged it like a small sled. It was hard work, very hard. The ground was uneven. The man was heavy. Robert's hands burned, his back hurt, and sweat rolled down his face. But he didn't stop. Why are you helping me so much? The man asked in between. Robert answered simply, because you need it. They slowly moved out of the inner forest until finally Robert saw open fields in the distance. Shortly after, a group of farmers spotted them and rushed to help. They carried the injured man to a nearby house where he was given water and first aid. Later, a cart was arranged to take him to the town doctor. Before leaving, the man held Robert's hand. What's your name? He asked. Robert, he replied. Do you live in this village? Yes. The man looked into his eyes and said, You saved my life today. I won't forget this. Robert smiled a little, but inside he was still sad. I'm glad I could help, he said quietly. But I lost something today too. I missed an interview in town. I was hoping to get a job there. The man looked surprised. You were going to the town for a job? He asked. Yes, Robert replied. But I made a wrong turn and got lost in the forest. That's how I found you. The man stared at him for a second. Then he said slowly, Sometimes what looks like a wrong turn is actually the right one. Robert didn't understand. He just nodded and stepped back as the cart took the man away. His body was tired. His clothes were dirty. His dream job was gone. He walked back home, feeling empty. That evening, Robert sat outside his house, staring at the sky. His mother came and sat beside him. "How was it?" she asked softly. He took a deep breath. "I didn't reach the interview," he said. "I got lost in the forest, helped an injured man, but the job is gone." His mother listened quietly. "You did the right thing," she said. "Helping a person in danger is never a loss." "I know," Robert replied, "but sometimes it feels like my life is stuck." His mother put a hand on his shoulder. "Maybe God saw a danger you didn't see," she said. "Maybe you were not supposed to be on that road today." Robert didn't say anything. He just looked at the ground. A little later, someone knocked on their door. When Robert opened it, he froze. Standing there was the same man from the forest, this time in clean clothes, with a bandage on his leg supported by a stick. Behind him was a carriage with a logo. Robert's mother stood up in surprise. You're the man from today," Robert said. The man smiled. "Yes, my name is Mr. Collins," he said. "I'm the owner of the big warehouse in town." Robert blinked. "The same warehouse?" he asked slowly. "The one that was hiring today?" "Yes," Mr. Collins replied. "And let me tell you something, Robert." He looked serious now. "This morning, near the town entrance, a part of an old building wall collapsed because of last night's storm. It fell on the road, exactly at the place where people had gathered for the interviews." Robert's heart stopped for a moment. "Many were injured," Mr. Collins continued. "Some got badly hurt. If you had gone by the main road as you planned, you would have reached that spot at that time." Robert felt goosebumps on his skin. "So," Mr. Collins said, "the turn you thought was wrong may have actually saved your life." Robert stood there in silence, unable to speak. Mr. Collins smiled gently. "And that's not all. You didn't just save yourself today, you saved me too. If you had not found me in the forest, I might still be lying there alone." He took a breath and then said, "I saw your character today, your patience, your strength, your heart. I don't need to test you with an interview." He looked Robert in the eyes. "If you still want the job, it's yours, not as a helper only, but as a permanent worker with a good salary." Robert's eyes filled with tears. He looked at his mother. Her hands were shaking with happiness. He turned back to Mr. Collins and said, with a voice full of emotion, "Yes, sir, I would be honored to work with you." From that day on, Robert worked in the warehouse. He learned fast, worked honestly, and won everyone's trust. Over the years, he was promoted to a higher position. He was no longer the boy begging for daily work. He was a respected man. Many times people in the village would tell him, "You're lucky you took that forest path that day." At that time, it didn't feel lucky. It felt like a mistake. But now I know, not every delay is a loss, and not every wrong turn is wrong. Sometimes life is protecting you from something you don't see. This story teaches us something very important. Just because your plan breaks doesn't mean your life is breaking. Just because something goes wrong today doesn't mean your future is ruined. Sometimes the job you miss, the road that closes, the plan that fails is actually saving you from a bigger problem. Every time something doesn't go your way, you have two choices. One, call yourself unlucky, get angry, and give up. Two, take a deep breath and say, maybe something better is being planned for me. I will still do my best. Remember, subscribe our channel Life in Lines for more stories like this.